In 1980, there were not pregnancy tests available the way they are today. And I thought I'd go to Planned Parenthood, get, pay $10 for a pregnancy test. I want my $10 back, by the way. And I thought they'd help me plan. And it came back positive, and I was like, yay! And they said, when do you want your termination? I said, what? Do you not see the smile on my face? And they went, well, yeah, when do you want your termination? It was their job to sell me an abortion. I went, no. And then I was like, where am I? I thought Planned Parenthood was there to help you.
Well, I know when I was small, I grew up in a Bible church, and I heard that abortion was against God from the time I was a little child. Like, I knew however life was going to be, if I had an unplanned pregnancy, which I did, I knew, I heard it from the pulpit, Pastor Algren, when I was a little girl, that abortion was wrong and that was off the table. Like, that would never be something I did.
So as an immigrant coming from Brazil, that is something that I wasn't familiar with. Fortunately, it's still not legal in Brazil. It is not something that people normally talk about in society. There's no division like there is here in the country. So it was a bit of a shock. This is a life. There should be no question. It is a human that's inside this woman. We have to be bold, and we have to get involved. I really think when we are in front of God, when we die, we're all going to be responsible for what we've done during this time.
What I'm seeing more and more is there's a lot of hopelessness and despair. Women will say, I'm gonna have this abortion anyway because God's gonna forgive me. I hear that all the time. God's gonna forgive me, without realizing there's still permanent and final consequences to this decision. They say, I'm gonna go to hell anyway. So there's a lot of desperation, and a couple of times they have told me, well, my pastor told me that it's okay. I went to my pastor and they said it's okay because you have too many children. And I would like to just encourage all the pastors out there to be bold about this issue. Start speaking about it from the pulpit. Don't be lukewarm. We have to take society back by protecting our young.
When we do society God's way, you know what this causes? Human flourishing. Human flourishing. And I was thinking about this week after having a conversation with a dear sister. Do you know what they're trying to do this fall? They're trying to enshrine Roe versus Wade and baby slaughter in Michigan. You know what I'm praying against? That. I'm praying that we would have a spiritual reformation that would cause a societal reformation, that baby butchering would be looked at as the wicked and hellish thing that it is. That there would be no more baby butchering, that they would be safe in the womb in Michigan.
So the 1931 law, as I think Lynn mentioned already, it is the law on the books. As we know, or maybe some of us don't know this, once Roe v. Wade was overturned, basically it goes on to the states to decide what the law will be. And our law in Michigan is one of the most restrictive. It still allows for women to have abortions if their life is in jeopardy, but beyond that, they cannot have an abortion. So we do have that in the books right now. However, our governor has worked with some judges, and they have some injunctions in place which are basically permitting these abortions to go on. With the amendment, it will actually be worse than it is right now, because we eliminate the 1931 law. We don't have Roe v. Wade, which was giving us some restrictions, right? We had the viability. We had, I think, 24, is it up to 24 weeks at this point? But with this in place, it's so vague. You can go on. 9 months, the day of birth, and sometimes I hear from people, this wouldn't happen. Which woman would carry a baby for for 9 months and then think, I don't want it anymore. I don't want the baby anymore. Unfortunately, this is an evil world. We are fallen, and it does happen.
I'm Lynn Mills from Pro-Life Michigan. I've been involved in the pro-life movement my whole life. The 1931 law protected me. If abortion was legal in 1953, and that's when my mom went to get an abortion, I wouldn't be here. I was born in 1954, and what saved me was my mom was scared. She was scared of dying from a criminal abortion. And I am so glad the 1931 law was in effect. Not a heartbeat law, no offense heartbeat people, but the 1931 law saved my life.
Oh, my name is Viviane Cuenca, and I've been involved in the pro-life movement through people from church. It is something that obviously, as a Christian, we hear about it, probably not enough at church from the pulpits, unfortunately. But I think the first time I heard was from our church, a group of activists going into the abortion mill in Westland and just protesting and really fighting what was going on in the clinic.
My name is Tara Brackney, and I've been doing sidewalk counseling since 2006. I met a very dear friend of mine, a very inspirational person at a yard sale that I was having. I was doing missions around the world, and she came looking for baby stuff, and we got talking, and I said, well, what do you do? And she said, I do sidewalk counseling. And she said, I go talk to women, and I offer them life. And we support the women from the minute I talk to them at the clinic that they choose life, and we support them all through pregnancy. She said, we support them as long as they want to be in my life. So
I was 18 in 1972. I don't remember much about it. I just knew abortion was evil and wrong, and there was a big push to make abortion legal, and there were all these pro-life groups forming, and I don't remember much except I put a bumper sticker on my car, vote no on Proposal B, and that's what I did, and that's what I believe 64% of Michiganders did, vote no on Proposal B.
Thank you, ladies, for coming together to discuss this very hot topic that is going to be on our ballot this year, November. So, as a group, what can we go out and tell our pastors?
Be bold. Speak up. Do not lead your flock astray.
I would say that there's women in your church right now that are considering abortion right now.
Just, encourage the people in the church to get involved, to learn about the issue and to come out and go to the clinics, or at minimum pray for this situation, because it's going to be very concerning if this all goes through in November.
They want to change the Constitution in the state of Michigan. They want to make abortion legal through 9 months. One of the things, they're trying to blackmail women by telling them they will not be able to get pregnancy care. More horrifying than that is that you parents will lose parental rights. That if you send your child to any school or anywhere, your sister, your aunts, your mothers, grandmothers will be able to take your children to an abortion center for an abortion dump, for abortions without your parental consent. You will not know. It's horrifying, and we can't have that here in the state of Michigan. We will not allow you abortionists to take away parental rights from parents. And with this new constitutional amendment, anybody can do abortions. You and I can open up shop. We, with no skills, can start doing abortions. We cannot get abortionists sanctioned for anything. There will be nothing holding them back. They are hammering away to get into the state of Michigan now. There is an uptick right now on abortionists applying for licensing in the state of Michigan, coming from all over this country here right now. We will be the Mecca in this in the Midwest for abortions through 9 months. Is that what you want? Is that really what you want? Specifically in Saginaw, Lansing, Kalamazoo, and Greater Detroit.
But what really got me involved was hearing about this constitutional amendment that's being coming on the ballots potentially on November. I started, reading about the petition and hearing about how this would go into the public, and it's horrifying because, first of all, in their paperwork when they came out, they talk about reproductive freedom for all, which sounds really good. Sounds like it's a good measure, and it's what women would want to have. And in the language of the petition, they even talk about, this is gonna give you the right to carry out decisions about pregnancy, prenatal care, childbirth, and they throw in abortion in there. And I think this is just to, on purpose, keep it very vague so people are confused. They see the good pieces of what this amendment will do, but with the abortion, as Lynn mentioned, the language, the vagueness of the petition will actually allow for women to carry on abortions after what they deem viability. So there is no limit. It could really go on until the day of birth, which is really, really concerning. We know it happens. We had the case in DC where at least 5 full-term babies were found in a trash. There are pictures of this. Everyone can find this. So it's not a theoretical. It is happening, and it's coming to Michigan. It is something that we're not going to be protected against. And part of the language here too will allow, like Lynn was saying, for anyone to carry on abortions. You don't need a license. It won't be regulated by the state. And the scary part is that even though the petition says you can have an abortion after viability if you have a professional opinion of a healthcare provider, and they don't specify, is this your OB, is this your primary care physician, what kind of, is it a legal document? It's very, very vague.
It's been a little over 15 years. We go to the sidewalk of a Detroit abortion clinic, and it's very busy, and we don't protest, we don't hold up signs, we don't yell, we don't scream. We just gently walk up to a mother that's going in and say, what is it? What are you doing here? How can we help you? You have a very limited amount of time, and if somebody will stop and listen to you, and it does happen, it really does happen, you can talk to them and find out what their motivating factor is to be there for an abortion.
I met a group of people that would go to this clinic, the Summit in Detroit, and actually talk to women at the clinic and offer, help. How can we help you carry the pregnancy? Is it, money that you need? Can we talk about adoption? We will provide you with diapers. We will help you. And it was just, kind of mind-blowing to see that there was a real world, a real place where they are killing babies.
That when people go to the abortion clinic and pray and offer help, babies live. It's as simple as that. And there's been hundreds of women that have ever been angry that they chose life. Never. But the key is to, when you go from the abortion clinic, to immediately take them for an ultrasound, because the ultrasound is the first time that they actually meet their child in a positive setting. Like, this is wonderful, congratulations. Like, no matter what the circumstances, you have to offer them love, because isn't that what life is? Isn't that what God would have us do? Love them.